Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, and welcome back to the channel. Make sure you're hitting that like, comment, and subscribe button, and more importantly, turn on those notifications. That way you guys get notified when we drop hits like this. On this episode, the Miami Hurricanes are proudly rocking that #2 ranking. The Florida Panthers are back like they never left, and we tell you what to expect from this Heat season. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go!
It's starting to feel
A little nice, right?
like fall.
Yeah.
Whatever Miami's version of fall is kind of what it's starting to feel like. It's nice. It's a nice little breeze we got going here.
If you think about it, it's been very nice every single morning.
Yeah.
Like
70s.
70s, nice look, and windows down while you're driving type shit. You know what I
A
mean?
little bit of Cali feels.
Very like that. Very much like
Still
that.
more humid.
Yeah, of course. You know, you get the humidity around 10, 11, but you still get those 3 hours where it's like, coño, this could be great year round.
It was nice this morning.
Yeah, right.
It's nice right now.
It's nice right now, dog. We're enjoying ourselves, right? We're chilling in our spot. Another episode of Sports with SoSo. And we got a lot to talk about, bro, because it's been a little minute since we jumped on them, right? We've been so focused on the terrible season that is the Miami Dolphins season this year. Make sure you guys check out the latest episode of OnlyFans as well, streaming right now.
Yeah.
It's tough, but when we look at what else is happening outside of football or the NFL, let's say, with the Dolphins, shit is going really well, right? Things are going really well.
For South Florida sports.
For
Florida.
For the teams we really care about.
Correct, yeah.
Right?
South Florida sports.
For the team we really care about. And you know, there's no other place I would want to start than the Miami Hurricanes, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, for sure. You're
overdue. I don't know how many people have reached out to me saying, bro, you guys haven't talked about the Canes once this season.
Well, here it is.
Maybe that's a good thing, because ever since we stopped talking about the Canes,
it's been working.
they shot up in the rankings.
It's been working.
So I really hope that this conversation we're about to have doesn't change anything for the Miami Hurricanes.
I think it is because it's going to positively enhance what's going on, right? Because every single checkbox that we had set up for Mario Cristobal this year and this team has been checked, right? We wanted to see them win big games. We wanted them to be dominant at home. We wanted them to beat opponents outright, and they've done that in all 5 of those games, right? Are you going to get those games where there's a little bit of pushback and maybe you wish we were a little bit more dominant in the fourth quarter? Yeah, of course, and we'll get into that. But whenever you do start the season 5-0, you've beaten ranked opponents both at home and on the road. Man, like you're doing your job, right? And you can see it in the fan base, the hype that's being created, not nationally, but just locally, right, in the fan base on this team and what they're accomplishing is starting to pick up more steam and starting to become more real, right? Like, you know, they didn't play this past weekend. They had the bye week. And they still solidified that #2 ranking, right? Because all these other top 10 ranked teams go out there and lose, and the Hurricanes are like, well, you're playing an unranked opponent. You're playing a ranked opponent that's like in the high 20s. You're losing at home. Meanwhile, all we've done is win games. Same thing as #1 Ohio State. All they've done is won games, right? Yeah, they beaten the crap out of some teams, and some games have been closer, but they're out there winning games. And that's what we wanted Cristobal and crew to do, dog. We knew he had a talented roster. You know, Victor came on here. Shout out to Vic. He came on here and he told us, hey, this defense is gonna be nasty. And we're seeing it because not only is Ruben Bain, you know, being whispered and talked about in the Heisman race, you know, you also got guys like Mesador that are ranked top 10, top 20 in the nation in tackles and sacks and tackles for loss. Like this defense is really everything that Victor said it would be, and it's so refreshing to see and witness.
It's definitely a difference from last year's defense, that's for damn sure.
Right?
The way that they flock to the ball, the way that they hit guys now, you know, and wrap them up. It's not like just shoulder tackles. Like, I hate that so much, bro. That's what we're dealing with right now with the Dolphins and the Anthony Weaver-led defense. But no, man, the Canes are playing great ball, man, and especially like you said on defense, Bain's going to be bona fide top 10 pick in the NFL draft. And like you said, you know, maybe even potential Heisman candidate. But the offense, though, I want to know what your take is on the offense, because I feel like You know, they've looked really good at times, but have they been as dominant as we thought they might have been?
Yeah, but it comes with a little bit of grain of salt, right? And here's why. Because the defense has been so outstanding, right? You don't really realize it, but this offense is averaging 35 points per game. That's nothing to sneeze at on the college level. Is it, high-powered Oregon offense? No, right? Because you usually want to be in the high 40s for that. But 35 points per game lets me know that they're winning games comfortably without having to rely on being in a shootout or because their defense doesn't know how to lock down and win games. That's like the biggest difference from last year to this year. This defense has been put in positions where they have to make a play, come up with a stop, get a takeaway, whatever, right, to close out the game, and they've done it every single time they've been called to do it. And then you look at this on the offensive side, you got Malachi Toney, a freshman, going out there and being a consistent wide receiver. You got C.J. Daniel being an excellent, again, another transfer portal guy that we pull in and putting up excellent numbers. Carson Beck just put up 4 touchdowns against FSU, right? The offense is getting there because we don't need it right now to be carrying the team.
Okay.
And that's a good place to be at, right? Where you can be like, yo, Carson, if you go out there and have a regular day, throw 260 yards with 3 touchdowns, we're Gucci. We don't need you to do the Cam Ward 360 yards, 4 touchdowns, scramble for 80 yards as well in order to give us a shot to win the game. And that's a big reason why they've been able to validate that number 2 ranking.
Our identity is defense first.
Solidified. You have a top 25 defense. You've played real good opponents, right? And in real good opponents, I'm talking about some in-state mostly, right? You got USF that we beat 49-12. They're currently ranked 18th. We smacked up Florida at home, right? And they've struggled since then. Kind of put them on blast. And then, like I mentioned, the FSU win, right? Beating them 28-22 on the road for your first road game as a unit, right? And you get the greatest performance that we've seen this season from Carson Beck. Puts up 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. What more do you want from this guy?
Well, I don't know how much more we can ask from him, but I guess the question around that Florida State game specifically was, and kind of something that's kind of been brought up a few times now in the Cristobal era is, does Cristobal take his foot off the gas and get a little timid when he's ahead instead of keep barreling down?
Right.
And that kind of happened in that FSU game where those guys were completely out of the game, and
right.
It ended up being a 1-possession game at the end of it.
For sure. And I think that Cristobal knows that it is a fair criticism of his coaching style, right? But here's where I'll point out one thing in that game specifically. Our defense didn't necessarily play extremely well in that second half because we didn't do too good of a job of wrapping up, right? We let Castellanos get loose a couple of times where he was able to hurt us, not only throwing the ball downfield, but extending the play and gaining 6, 7, 8 yards to keep getting first downs and pushing them down the field, right? So that's when the defense is a little bit to blame. But I think that Mario knows this was going to be the toughest stretch of the season for them, right? And if he can get through that unscathed, 5-0, without major injuries, without putting your quarterback at risk, without putting your star running back Fletcher at risk, your 2 star wide receivers at risk, and you walk out with 5 victories out of tough 5 games, yeah, you take that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So it doesn't have to look extremely pretty. Now, this Friday game, right, against Louisville, that's where we want to see the offense really kind of start to ramp up.
It's a Friday game?
It's a Friday night game, which I love, right, because it puts us on primetime national TV where everybody's looking at the number 2 Hurricanes and other teams want to see us fail, right? And I'm excited to see how the team responds because we've seen this team go into tough environments, tough matchups, and come out with a clear-minded goal of winning the game and playing clean. That's a very underrated thing that people like us, the fans, don't necessarily notice until it's brought up to our attention. Last year, they were one of the worst penalized teams. This year, complete 360. They've turned over a new leaf, and all these guys know what's expected of them. Yeah, 180. Yeah, I thought about it as I was saying it. But
hopefully not 360. I'll get back to where we were.
But it just shows you the level, right, of commitment that's being shown to the defense. It's exciting, right? but I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. You know, I posted something on our IG story, Sports with SoSo on Instagram if you're not following. But it was mostly about the path being clear for them to achieve their goals, right? What are their goals? Make the ACC championship, right? And make the college playoff.
I think it's win the ACC championship. It's to win the ACC.
I get that.
It's not just make it, dog. I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm sure that within that locker room, it's win it, right? They want to win everything. They have to have that mentality, and they're playing with that mentality. But I think that as a fan base,
I can't say we can't. We got to temper our expectations, bro. Like with this
I'm
team,
not saying temper. I'm not saying temper because temper would be
overdue. Overdue.
I would agree with that.
The ACC is overdue.
100%. But what I'm saying is that right now, today, we expect that team to be there December 6th, December 5th. We expect that team to be there.
Absolutely.
Right? Who our opponent is, how good they are, what type of form they're coming into the game with. That's all we're going to talk about when that occurs.
Absolutely.
But if we're talking about today, the goal is let's get there. And once we're there, we'll worry about winning it. Same with the college playoff, right? We don't know who we're going to match up with. We don't know if we end up with a top 4 ranking or not, right? We don't know. We have to continue to play the games, win the games in order to solidify that spot. Once we get there, let's let loose.
This is the first 2 teams, top 2 teams that get a bye, or how does that work?
I think the first 2 teams get a bye, and then the 3 and 4 get home. I think 3 to 6 get
3
home.
and 8, 4 and 7.
Yeah.
Five and
It's 12
6.
teams this year,
That's
if I'm not
12
mistaken.
teams now.
If I'm not mistaken,
Bro.
double check that. But it's 12 teams.
Damn.
But like I said, the goal is to get there. Because it's tournament style, baby. And once you get into a tournament, it's all about matchups. It's all about what's your strength versus your weakness and how can you exploit that in a matchup. And I think that the Hurricanes are prepared for that because not only they're going to get good competition, in the early part of the season like we've seen, but they're also going to go through the rest of ACC play where they're going to get very familiar opponents, tough environments, especially at the end of the season, like going on the road at Pittsburgh. Those are going to be tough environments that are going to harden this team to get them ready for the college playoff. It's going to be exciting.
12-team field.
Boom, there you go.
And the national championship is at Hard Rock Stadium.
Hey.
Didn't know that.
Crazier things have been accomplished, right? And if we stick to the topic, right, the Hurricanes have earned that number 2 ranking, right? They've earned it, and I think they're going to continue to earn it week in, week out because Mario's not going to let that standard fall. Hey, these are the 2 goals that we're trying to get to. Once we get there, I got another plan, and it's working. So Friday night, 7:30, Hurricanes game. It's going to be dope. I'm going to be doing an Instagram Live on Thursday night. Make sure you guys tune into that. Just a little preview of the game, see what's going on, what's shaking, who's playing, who's not. And I'm expecting a nice-sized victory. I'm not going to say a blowout, but 14, 17 points.
Dominant win.
Dominant win.
Louisville.
Yep.
In Kentucky.
I think we're playing at home.
We're playing at home?
I'm
done. Run it up. Run it up. I thought this was a road game, cuz.
My dog said, hey, I'm taking the spread.
Give me the spread, bro.
What's
and
the
the
spread
over.
right now, dog? My man is ready. Hurricanes win big. All right, I'm down for that. Let's jump into the next topic. My favorite team. That's the Florida Panthers, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions.
Man. Yo, and the season before it even started, started off bad. We start off by losing our captain, Barkov.
Well, before the season even started, or the offseason,
Right.
we find out that Kachuk is going to be out for some time because he's going to be injured or
We had already
coming back.
seen that, though, going back to last
it.
season.
Right, once we won it, we knew that he was going to be out for some
Correct.
time.
But then we're gearing up, we're ramping up, and then we lose Barkov.
Oh.
And it's like, how do we lose that guy? That guy's
man.
the core of our team. You know what I mean? He's our best defenseman and everything, and now he's out for the whole year. So we start the season like that, and it's like, damn, what are these Panthers gonna do,
Brother.
And so far, we started off the way we ended things last year.
No, these guys are back like they never left. They're back like they never left. This is just the extended season. All right, I guess we're just going to continue to dominate at home and beat everybody, when they think they have a chance, quote unquote. Seriously, bro, to start the season 3-0 with the amount of pressure that those guys are under is wild. It's wild because not only are you chasing history, right, with the 3-peat and all that stuff, and that's a tall mountain in the very least to climb, but you're also getting everybody's best punch every single night. Anytime that somebody comes into your building, they're gonna bring whatever it takes to beat you.
Yep.
Whether it's hurting your players, doing dirty shit, playing mind games, tactics, whatever. Their main objective is let's get these guys. And you gotta walk the season with that entire target on your back as a team, and that becomes hard to deal with, right? To carry that pressure. However, this Panthers team is not built like other Panthers team
Or any
other NHL team.
Yeah, or
because
teams,
you would
period.
think that these losses would have such a significant impact, but the fact that these guys have not only won 3 home games straight, right? They lost their first game on the road. 2 of them, they were leading the game. So it's not like they had to come back and scramble. No, they were up, hey, give up, we're up 2-0, get a goal, whatever, give a goal. And then they go on to dominate the rest of the game. It's unprecedented what these guys are doing.
I went to the game Saturday night against the Senators. It was
6-2, I think.
6-2 final. But we were dominant from the very beginning of the game. Before I even got to my seat, we scored 2 goals. Straight up. It was crazy. And the building was electric, packed out building. Everybody was there, in their seats, waiting, ready to watch the action. And yeah, man, it was nice. We had a bunch of good plays. Ended up winning, like I said, 6-2. So it was nice to see that. It's like, man, this is the norm now. To be a Panthers fan. Like, if you go to the game at home, like you're in for a good show.
Yeah.
It's not like, say, the Dolphins or the Marlins, where you're like, man, more likely than not, this team's gonna lose, but I'm going because X, Y, and Z. No, it's like, no, I'm gonna go because more likely than not, they're gonna win, and it's gonna be a good game along the way. It's not gonna be a boring game.
No, for sure. And the star power, right? You look at that Panthers team, and there are big names all up and down that roster, right? Legitimate stars. You mentioned Barkov, Kachuk.
Well, he's out now. Kachuk
whatever,
is out
but
now.
Those guys are still selling jerseys.
You still got guys like Sam Bennett out there.
Sam Bennett,
and you
Rodriguez,
got guys like Verhaeghe and Ekblad. Ekblad had a goal in that game.
Come on,
Eki I
Don't
think is going to be
Bob
the one.
Is still in goal.
If you ask me, I think it's Ekblad who has the biggest chance to step up here now.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he's been a great player. Don't get me wrong, but as far as really taking over now to fill in that Barkov spot or whatever, I think Ekblad's the guy. If not,
100%.
maybe like a Lundell or something like that.
Yeah. But look how many guys we just ripped off, dog. Like, we just said 7 names. Guys that people recognize, kids recognize, and they're building that fan base, right? If you're between 6 and, let's say, 12, and you've been watching Panthers hockey for the last 6 years, you're going to be a Panthers fan for the rest of your life because all you've seen is winning, big names, championship runs. Like, you've witnessed nothing but greatness in your little life.
Marchand.
Right? Get the hell out of
we
here.
had that guy.
Right? So all you've seen is that winning. So they're building that fan base. Yes, the adults are impressed as what they've built, but we also have to realize what they're putting into their infrastructure as far as building a fan base, dog.
Yeah.
They're reaching out to so many people. My little nephew goes nuts for the Panthers. He tells my brother all the time, like, Papi, I want to go to a Panthers game. He's like, shit, I got to take this guy to a Panthers game. He's 5.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? He showed me his Panthers shirt and stuff. He's like, look, Theo, check this out. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Hey, well, I mean, everybody likes to represent a winning franchise.
You don't want to be that guy fucking Browns fan, right? At 6, 7, 8 years old. That shit sucks.
Oh, man.
So it's impressive to see this team just winning, dog. And yeah, they lost that game against Philadelphia on the road. Beginning of the road trip, it's tough, right? Like, you're still finding your bearings and shit. But I totally expect them to go out there and win tonight in Detroit, right? Like, they're playing tonight as we record this. That's a tough matchup. We've seen them, plenty of times in the playoffs and shit. But I'm expecting the Panthers to go out there and be like, here's the bounce back. We're not losing twice in a row, right? Like that same type of expected performance when the Big Three was here, right?
Right.
That he would lose, and it's like, well, no, we lost one game.
Yeah,
here comes 7 in a row.
Bet the house on the next one because there's no way they lose 2 in a row.
No, you feel me?
Yeah.
That's the level the Panthers are on right now, and it's amazing.
There's a couple of feelings, bro. One is that, where it's like if they lost, you can count on the bounce back. They're gonna come back hungry. They're not gonna let that happen twice in a row. They don't really go on those runs. It might happen twice in a row occasionally,
right?
It's not a streak. They're not going on these crazy losing streaks like that.
No chance.
Like they used to. There were some times where they were getting a little shaky and stuff like that, and they would kind of go on these weird spells. but that's not the case anymore. The other thing is, if they're down in a game, they're not out.
No.
And that's sometimes even like when the game gets more exciting, because then it's like, okay, now you know they're going to come back and they're going to take the lead and win, whether it's in regulation or in OT. You know what I mean? They're going to come back and win. So those are the things that we've come to expect, bro. Never count them out. Never count them out.
Championship medal, man. Championship medal. And they continue to sign guys for good deals and stuff like that, extending the right guys for the right price and stuff like that, which is just good business. Suffering losses. And even though they lost another defenseman today, Kulikov went down with another lower body injury. He's going to be out 5 months. That's not
5
great.
months for Kulikov?
Yeah, brother.
Sheesh.
But he'll be back for the playoff run and shit like that, you know, and he'll have time to get ready for the playoff run, more importantly.
That means we're going to sign somebody.
Possibly.
I know Bill Zito's already working on.
Possibly, but then you think about it, you're going to get all these guys back when it matters most in those last 3-4 months of the season.
Sure.
Right? So then what do you do with the guys that you signed? It gets a little bit tricky
I trust him
when
to
you're
figure that
when you're
out.
the king, right? Things get tricky and harder when you're the king, and that's where the GM finds himself right now. But I don't doubt his ability, right, to make the right move and see what they can do. Whether they bring up a player from the minors, you know, get a guy off the waivers, free agent, whatever. I just know that this team is deep enough, disciplined enough, right, and focused enough to continue to win, continue to put on good performances, and fight every single night, because they know that they're, like I said in the beginning, they have a target on their back.
Yeah.
When you raise your second consecutive championship banner on primetime TV to open up the season, right? It puts the rest of the world on notice that the Florida Panthers are not to be messed with.
When you're on a team that lives in a place where it doesn't snow, winning a sport that requires
For the
you to play
most
on
part.
a field of ice,
For the most part.
you know, people start to resent that when they're from colder climates. The fact that we're down here and we're thriving in that sport.
Cause and their ring, I don't know if you saw it, bro, and I encourage you guys to check it out on their Instagram, bro. It's like the size of my watch. It's this high, it's this big, it's like ridiculous. They got 2 Stanley Cup on the ring. It's like beyond putting it in your face. Not only are they like raising the banner on opening night, they're also showing you the video of the guys opening the massive box to show this massive ring that they've earned.
Third one's gonna go crazy,
and the third one's gonna be something that they have to put like on their hand. It's not a ring.
It's gonna be like a Thanos glove.
A gauntlet,
like
dog.
The Infinity Gauntlet. That's what they're gonna get for the third one.
Maybe like up to the wrist, not all the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like to the wrist,
yeah.
and then like you put the 3 rings in there, boom, and it powers up. That would be badass, dog. Panthers, man. Make sure you guys watch those guys in person.
Yeah.
It's an amazing experience if you haven't been there yet,
one
man.
of the best sporting experiences right now in South Florida.
It's always gonna be that.
If not the best sporting
It's always gonna be
experience in
that.
South
It's
Florida.
always gonna be that. Vamos Gatos, man.
Unless you're a football fan rooting for the other team. Oh, no,
Yeah.
well, you got the Hurricanes. How am I going to count out the Hurricanes?
Come on, Papa, number
That's
2.
another great experience right
number
there. So
2.
I would say Hurricanes, Panthers, 1A, 1B.
Don't worry about the rest. Don't worry about the rest.
Just
for right
go to
now.
a damn game and shut
For
up.
right now, don't worry about the rest. Let's switch topics one more time and finish up with the Miami Heat. I decided to rock their hat today.
I see that.
But the black one.
Why
right?
are you rocking the black one?
Because there's a lot of questions on what we as a fan base should prepare for and expect from this team this season.
Sure.
Right? Because like the Miami Dolphins, this team also had a lot of questions in their offseason. What were they going to do? Are they going to try to make a splash?
None of which got answered.
None of them which really got answered, right? Especially in the trade department. We did bring in Norman Powell, which was a good move, right? Across the board. The guy shoots well from 3. He defends like a motherfucker.
NBA champion.
Yeah,
right?
he's got playoff experience. He's an NFL, NBA vet. Like, real good signing.
Yeah.
He's going to assimilate to fucking Heat culture
agree.
just fine.
I agree.
Right? However, there haven't been enough moves to bring in more veteran leadership. So that means that we're expecting the guys that are currently on the roster to uphold that veteran status. And I don't know if they're able to carry that. On the other side of that is the expectation that we're putting on these young players, right, to go out there and level up in front of us all together. Right? And I'm not talking about Bam, right?
Bam, when you said
We're
who's
done-
a veteran, that's immediately who I thought about.
Yeah,
Bam.
for sure. He's the
Bam's
captain.
a vet in the locker room now.
He's the captain. He's the OG in that locker room, right? He's the one setting the tone. However, he's still a young man, right? Hasn't necessarily been the best in the NBA, right? In his position or at any point where he's like setting the world on fire and people are like, wow, Bam Adebayo, right? So you don't necessarily have guys who can say, I've done it. Look at the championship ring, right? We don't have that. How does that help the young players develop? Because now we got a lot of young players, but there's a lot of question and money behind it. We extended Jovic, right, or the kid. He hasn't really shown us much, right? We draft 2 players. One of them is gonna make the team. That's the Casper kid, Casaparas, because he plays point guard position, which is a desperate need on this team. And then you also are depending on the kid that we drafted last year, Khalil Ware. And even though he's having an amazing preseason, he's really been tearing it up this preseason.
And he had a great season last year.
And he had a great rookie season last year. He learned so much. How much do you expect him to level up, right? Because again, if we're looking at veteran leadership, if Bam is the most veteran guy on the team that can speak in there, and yeah, there's probably guys that have been in the NBA longer than Bam on the team, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they've been with the Miami Heat longer, right? And know how things should be according to what's been told to them. I don't see how this team is going to be able to compete in this NBA season because they're going to be doing a lot of self-evaluating and finding who they are as a team, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You got to put all those little pieces together, figure out who's going to play what role, and go from there. Because the only leadership that's going to be on the floor is Bam. This dude, Tyler Hero, foot surgery a couple of weeks ago, he's going to be out for 8 to 12 weeks. Don't expect that guy to come back and light the world on fire when
we'll
he does
see him
either.
at the beginning of 2026.
You know what I mean?
You know, maybe right before the All-Star game.
Christmas time, you know, maybe around that, like New Year's, he comes, and even still, when he comes back, you're not going to play him 36 minutes a game, 32 minutes a game.
And that's the leader of our offense.
Correct.
Know? So where is that going to come from now? Where are we going to get points game in and game out? Bam can only put up so much. He's going to put up on a good night 20, 24 maybe, you know, on a good night for Bam. You know, he's not dropping 30.
I don't see it. And it's sad because the opportunity is there, but he just hasn't developed that mindset of his game where he needs to be the scoring threat 24/7. Maybe that changes now, right? With the fact that it's really him and the other guy, what's the wing that I forget we got from Golden State? Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins. These are the only 2 guys that are necessarily guys that can attack the rim, right? Have those moves. Everybody else is just a complimentary player, realistically, on offense.
And that's what it kind of feels like now, even with the addition of a Norman Powell. You know, Norman Powell,
He's a complimentary
Wiggins, and Bam. It's like all of these are great role players. Like, who is the Jimmy? And I hate to bring it back because that's a sour subject here in Miami with Jimmy Butler, but it's like Jimmy was so great because of that, because he was the general.
Yeah.
He took over when we needed him to take over, but he utilized his army,
Right.
you know, appropriately.
Yeah.
He got the most out of them, you know, but he knew when it was the time to take over, it was his time to take over. Who's the guy here right now that takes over when we need him to?
I mean, we saw flashes of it from Tyler Hero, right? But
He's
yet
out.
again, he's out.
So who's the next man up? So
We're going to find that out together. And that's what we're going to be, you know, looking forward to as far as expectations are concerned when it comes to this Miami Heat team. It's going to be that, right? Like who catches your eye to say, this guy's putting in effort, he's improved, he's playing well, you can tell he's worked on his game. We have to see that from one of these guys. Because if not, then you have to consider the project a wash, right? We're 6 years into it, 5 years into it. You have to consider it a wash, and you have to start making moves to free up cap space. Because now that's the name of the game, right? If you want a star player, if you want a big name in the NBA, you need to be able to afford to pay that guy $60+ million. It's just a fact, right? So that means that the guys that are on our team that are making 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars, 60 million dollars, you have to evaluate those guys and say, do I
they
keep
worth
them?
that?
Are they worth that? Can I get something in return for it? Is the space more valuable on the cap? More often than not, that could be the case, but it needs to happen. We need to see it. And that's going to be another part that we can look forward to the season. Like, who comes, who goes. You know what I mean? It's going to tell a lot about what the future holds for this Miami Heat team. It's not going to be a great season, right, in all terms. ESPN Bet has the over-under on Miami Heat wins at 38 and a half games. I'm inclined to say that they'll find a way to win 40 games, 39 games. But that's also accounting that Bam and Hero don't suffer any major injuries, right? Because if either one of those guys go down, that's an immediate lack of production any way you look at it.
38 and a half is kind of crazy. That's not even half the games.
No.
That's under 500 record
That's right
there.
around the 10th spot.
But that's what we've done.
Yeah.
That's more or less what we've done the last couple of years, getting into the playoff tournament and getting into the playoffs that way. Hopefully we don't do that this year. That's kind of the goal this year. Is like,
I don't even
let's
think,
make the playoffs without having them do it through the play-in tournament.
I mean, you want to make the playoffs every year, that's great, but I don't think that's the goal. I think the real goal for the Miami Heat team and the front office is evaluate your talent. Evaluate the talent that you have. Evaluate what's taking up your cap space. Evaluate what you can bring in and what's needed on this team. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's going to be your main job. Because like you and I both know, and everybody who's watching this that's a real Heat fan, there are pieces here, right? But they're not necessarily the main pieces. They're complementary pieces. So those pieces either have to be, allocated somewhere else, or we have to bring in a player in and sacrifice other pieces to build up those complementary players. That's what the season is about, man, for the Miami Heat. Don't expect these guys to go out there and fucking win 6, 7, 8 games in a row. You're not gonna see that.
I just hope they don't lose 6, 7, 8 games in a row.
You may see that, but I don't think you'll see a lot of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see fight from this team. There's no doubt about it. And I hope that Hero comes back quicker than anticipated, right? Because then it just makes the rest of the evaluation process a lot easier. We'll see.
And we
needs to get fired and me.
Whoa.
My bad.
Anyways, and what about Coach Spo? How you feeling about Coach Spo leading this young unit?
I think he's the right man for the job, and I think that Spo has shown an ability to evaluate talent, raise talent, and really show guys what they're capable of, right, with their skill set. So I feel good about that, and even more so solidified by the fact that he was named USA coach. You know what I mean? Because you're usually working with both veteran guys, right, that have been in the NBA, but you're also molding the young college players, high school players that are coming of age to be on those national teams, right? It's not just the men's team that's adults that you're focused on 24/7. You're also doing a lot of the youth development of the guys that are 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old,
right,
playing in either high school or college ball. And for them to have chosen Spo and say, this is the guy to lead us, right, as a nation that has such a high standard when it comes to basketball, right, when it comes to national competition, just confirms for me, man, what I've known all along, that Spo is, one of the best coaches in the world, legit. There's no doubt about it. His ability to work with young players and work with veteran players is very uncanny, rare these days. And we're very lucky to have him. So I'm glad that he got that job. I'm glad he's leading this young Heat team because, like I said, I think he's going to do the right job of evaluating what we got. And we're going to see how it turns out.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I gotten spoiled now with the Panthers, so, like that's where we used to be, man. And like the fact we haven't made any moves, it's like I'm not too
enthusiastic.
Yeah, man. The outlook doesn't look great, if I'm being completely honest.
For sure.
I'm not like really stoked about this Heat season, but now with the addition of Norman Powell, now we got Wiggins for a little bit longer, and we do have Bam and Hero, so it's like, all right, I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I'm not gonna necessarily run to my TV, you know what I mean, to go watch the games, but
sure.
I'm gonna make sure I know what's going on week in and week out with these guys because I want to see, bro. We got to do better than 38 and a half, dog. Come on, bro.
We got to.
500 at least. Give me 500.
Yeah. We got to.
What's that? 41 games?
Yeah.
3 over that? Like.
Yeah, come on. It's very doable. But
crazy,
if
though. Crazy.
there is one thing that I'll end the segment on, is the fact that if we were to bet on a franchise, especially in Florida or South Florida, to turn it around and turn it around quickly,
Oh, it would be the Heat.
it would be the Heat, right? So
It would be the Heat, no
a
doubt
lot,
about it.
a lot to look forward there. A lot to look forward to there.
But we're in such a better situation than most of the other franchises already, like all
bunch.
around, like front office and all that
Sure,
stuff. So like,
100%.
it would be, but it might. You know what, bro? It might just take one player.
It starts this year, my man. This is the season that it starts. This is the season that it starts for the
Hopefully.
Heat. Let's wrap up the show with some honorable mentions real quick. We got to give a huge shout out to the BKFC Ice Wars, Ian, Bernie, the whole team there.
What a night, man.
What a night. Thank you so much for having us. Great access on the floor, watching the squared ice.
It was crazy for me
It's
because
crazy.
we were there, obviously watching
Yeah.
it. Hopefully, you guys were following along. And then the next night I went back and I was there again watching the Panthers play, and it was a completely different setup.
Super awesome. Real good access that we had as well. Make sure you guys are checking out the content that we provided on Instagram and also on YouTube. Can't wait for the next one, honestly. It was such a cool event. Very, very different, very violent, very BKFC. Badass, man.
Yeah.
Ice Wars. Check them out on Instagram and
Stars
YouTube.
were in the building too. A lot of people in the building. Tito Ortiz was in there.
was there. We saw
Kobe
his example.
Covington.
Kobe Covington was in the building. Our boy Frank was there. Justin was there. We saw HD.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. A lot of the heavy hitters in BKFC, bro. A lot of the heavy hitters. And even down here in South Florida, bro. There was some dudes out
I'm
there.
looking
Guy
forward
was
to
there.
December 5th.
Yeah, December 5th is going to be so fire. So fire. Can't wait for the rest of the announcements,
Last,
man. Trout versus Palomino. Ooh.
Perdomo was there too.
Yeah.
Well,
Shout out
we'll
to
see
those
him
guys.
fight. We'll see
Soon,
him fight now in
soon.
December and all the rest of the gang.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. That was a great night, man. I can't wait to do that again. BKFC Ice Wars.
Yeah, and in the world of combat sports, Alex Pereira recently reclaimed his light heavyweight title, knocking out Anklev in the first round. Nasty. This guy's just on a mission. He's the scariest dude alive, in my opinion. And even last weekend, man, a cool fight to see Charles Oliveira get a submission, bro, in his hometown of Rio, right, over there in Brazil. That was awesome. A lot of Brazilians there. Kaká was there. A lot of famous Brazilians. Shit was dope. And good for him because he's a guy that I really think could challenge Topuria for that belt. You know what I'm saying? Like he caught him. I'm telling you, he caught him slipping because Charles wanted to fucking show him that he's more of a quote unquote man. But if that gets into the later rounds, right, and it starts to become a little bit more of a grappling match, submission type match, Oliveira might have him. But we'll see. He got to fight his way back up there. So
Yeah, exactly.
he called out Max Holloway for the BMF title, so that'll be a badass fight too.
That'll be a good one.
Right?
Anytime we get to see Max fight.
Oh, man, I'm taking it all day, man. But, yeah, we appreciate you guys rocking with us on this one. It was a fun episode. We're glad you guys stuck along. It was always good to bring us up to speed on the world of sports for our favorite teams.
Everything that's not the Dolphins. So
Everything that's not the
if
Dolphins.
you only care about the Dolphins, and keep joining us on OnlyFans every week after the games. And in the case that you don't care about the Dolphins and want to follow all the other sports that we care about, Sports with SoSo still here on the weekly sometimes.
That's it. And the easiest way to get people involved is by telling a friend.
To tell a friend.
To tell another friend.
To tell everybody they know.
To tell everybody they know, because this podcast is really dope, because we're bringing you the stuff that you guys want to hear about, and we see it in the comments and the likes. So we appreciate you guys following along. Until next time, it's your boy So. Peace.